to hear a story about this boy. He owned a dairy farm, see. And his old ma, she was kind of sick, you know. And the doctor, he called him over and said, listen, your ma, she's lying there. She's just so sick and she's weakly. And I want you to try to persuade her to take a little brandy, see. Just to pick her spirits up, you know. And ma's a teetotaler, he says, that she wouldn't touch a drop. Well, I'll tell you what you do, that's the doc. I'll tell you what you do. You bring in a fresh quart of milk every day and you put some brandy in it, see? And you try that. So he did, and he doctored it all up with the brandy, the fresh milk, and he gave it to his mama. And she drank a little bit of it. She didn't, you know. So next day he brought in again, and she drank a little more, you know. And so they went on that way to the third day, just a little more, and the fourth day she was, you know, took a little bit more, and then finally 1 week later. He gave her the milk and she just drank it down, boy. She swallowed the whole thing, you know. And she called him over and she said, son, whatever you do, don't sell that cow. Don't suck the cow.
Welcome to Flyby Films, a podcast where once or twice a month, my friend over in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I in Chico, California, get together and discuss movies. Movies that, as we discussed last episode, are certifiably forgotten. On today's episode, we will be discussing a forgotten film from the 1980s. And it is a forgotten film by a director that is maybe best known for working with classic rock stars.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to connect him to our previous film.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't his first film also in Australia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his first film was also starring Mick Jagger.
Wow. Another Australian movie starring Mick Jagger.
Yep.
But that's not what we're going to be talking about.
No.
We could also talk about the fact that the director is maybe a little bit pervy. Or a lot of it pervy.
I don't know about that.
Well,
please enlighten me later on.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you all about it. But yeah, Blake, you picked this movie. So, do you want to reveal the title?
Well, okay, so first off, this was not my initial pick. As Jameson knows.
That. Yeah, I forgot, but you're right.
I picked another film that is a completely different tone from this one. But Jameson and I, were shocked, like many, about the death of Gene Hackman, and I was like, oh, I would love to find a film that is largely forgotten within his filmography, because I feel like Gene Hackman having the status he had, it's rare for you to not know he was in a movie, and for it not to be somewhat celebrated, or at least known on some level, even if it's a cult film. And so I was like, okay, well, he had to have had something. And sure enough, I found a movie, and lo and behold, it was done by a largely celebrated director, and it was largely forgotten in his filmography. Did not know it existed.
I didn't either.
It has a wild cast, a wild storyline, even more wild than I expected when I picked it. I mean, if you read the description of this film, you're thinking to yourself, this sounds melodramatic as fuck.
Blake, when I
Like
read this
this is
film,
not what you get. So when you read this, what did you
when I
think?
read the description of the movie, maybe I didn't read it fully and like comprehend it, but I thought it was mostly going to take place in Alaska, and I was surprised when after 15 minutes, it was not in Alaska anymore. So
Not even remotely.
not even no, kind of the opposite.
Yeah, kind of the opposite. Yeah. So this movie is called Eureka. Um, Came out in 1983, the year I was born. And it's by Nicholas Roeg, who many might know if you're a horror fan. Don't Look Now. He directed with Donald Sutherland, a film that I appreciate but do not enjoy.
Okay.
I appreciate the style, the technique, but man, I struggle to watch it every single time. And so, but he also did The Man Who Fell to Earth with David Bowie, which is also a nice
Walkabout.
little connection to Dancing on the Street with Mick Jagger and David Bowie. Walkabout, which I actually have never seen, but I've heard about, and I know it's one that people should watch on some level.
I've never seen it, but yes, I also know that it is probably his best or whatever. So
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I didn't even know that he did it until I started like digging into the movie a little bit more after I chose it. And then I saw his name. I was like, holy crap, like we're getting 2 for 1. Like this is a Gene Hackman film that I did not know existed. And this is a Nicholas Roeg film I did not know existed. So,
yeah,
hey, here we go. Let's see what we got. And it was not anywhere close to what I thought it was going to be. And good for it. We'll save whether or not we think the direction it went worked for us, but at least it was not boring.
yeah. It was no. The best touch points I can give for this movie, and not at all what I was expecting, was it feels like merging Twin Peaks and The White Lotus together, and
Yep.
I hate when people do this, and there's this famous tweet. But
What's a
Blake,
tweet?
did you ever follow the Twitter account Afraid of Wasps?
No, but
It
that
was
sounds like something I would have followed. So
it was just this this very absurd account, but it was very funny, and everyone like I think half of the tweets were about like, oh no, I'm jacking off or something like that, where like it didn't make sense and it was like, oh, this isn't funny. But then half of them hit. Well, maybe not half of them, maybe 5% of them hit, but when they hit, right?
they hit hard, so it made
They
it
hit,
feel like it
yeah.
was more often than
Yeah, no, and it worked. And one of the account's most famous tweets was this tweet. It was like guy who's only ever seen The Boss Baby seeing his second film, and then it's like the quote from this guy, and it's like, I'm getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this. And I always try to remember that, like, our like relationship with these things is definitely formed by our pre-context coming
Oh
into
yeah,
them, right?
yeah,
I think about Twin Peaks a lot, and White Lotus is a kind of a newer show. It's happening right now. I think one of the seasons is happening right now, so I'm seeing it. And so obviously, like, these things are in my mind. So I hate when people do this, but I actually do think it's kind of a fitting, like, there's a very Twin Peaks vibe to this movie and to the characters. And then, the White Lotus fits with like very wealthy characters just behaving very obscenely,
yeah.
and yeah. So anyway,
But let's also
But-
like real quick. Let's try to contain this film. So first off, the cast.
Wait. I'm
Okay.
not done. I'm not done with my opening monologue. I just needed you to answer a few questions about the movie,
Okay.
Blake.
Okay. Okay. I'll go back to my kennel like a good puppy.
Wait. Okay. So I'm supposed to ask you a question, right? So Blake did this to me an hour ago when we were recording the last episode. I'm giving him credit for this, but I'm also telling him that this is revenge for him.
And you know what the best part is I saw it coming, but it still hurts. It still hurts.
Good. Blake, I have a random question for you. What is the craziest thing that your kids have done in the 2 weeks that we haven't recorded? So, in the past 2 weeks, that's maybe a better way of asking.
In the past 2 weeks, what's the craziest thing that they've done? Besides being little shits.
Yeah, what's the most little shit thing they've done, or I don't know, one that stands out.
Man,
we didn't talk about our kids at all last episode, so
let's
do it this
which is wild. Because
make up for lost ground.
Our whole life. Of course, I'm blanking now on all this stuff. So my wife and I have started doing we bought these books that are like one line a day for 5 years. And we bought one for each of the kids. So we've been trying to write down one thing, whether it be funny or memorable or something, a day for each of the kids. And it goes for 5 years, and we'll see if we actually make it. But we are probably about a week behind in filling those out because we don't actually go by the day they happen. We have like a bank of things that, so I'm trying to scroll through those items, but I know that my wife and my oldest son went to the in-laws this weekend to cook a lot of food, because originally I was going to be sleep training our youngest, and my wife does not do well with screaming, and I'm part sociopath. I can handle it. I would not say I like screaming, but I can handle it. Well, that ended up falling through because our youngest was sick with some kind of cold or something, and we thought, well, this is not gonna help at all. But my wife had already kind of tied herself to going to her parents' house and cooking a shit ton of food, smoking chicken, and it's something that her dad and mom do quite often. And so she took Seamus, and I took care of Owen, our youngest. And I get a text on Saturday morning from my wife. She often sends me texts of things that Seamus says. And I'm going to pull that up real quick because I'd rather just read it as it was actually stated. Apparently, they both woke up on Saturday morning, and Seamus says, "Your eyes look tired, Mama, like walrus eyes. They're kind of melting."
And this is right when they wake up.
Yes.
So this is the most unmelted they'll look throughout the day.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. And if this does not bode well for him and women later on in life, or men, if that is the way he goes, but it does not bode well.
I think tact is definitely something to work on in that department.
Yeah.
Well,
he is very much in the non-tact category of this.
Yeah,
So
I think
I have
most
I have
kids
a
are.
feeling I know. Have a feeling I know yours because you recently told me, but I want to see if this is actually the one you pick.
Yeah, so I asked this question because I did have one kind of in the um in the chamber ready to blast. But so just a little bit of backstory. In January, we went on a road trip. My wife, I, and our son Hazel, and it was a pretty big, sprawling road trip. And Hazel did great. It was wonderful. We visited my mom in Idaho. We went to Seattle to visit my sister. Um, and my work is there, so I worked in the office during that time, and then we came back home. And Hazel was a champion, which was great. Our first night on the trip, we stayed in Nevada in the town of Winnemucca. And if you've
Okay.
never been to Nevada, you probably don't know what Winnemucca is, but it is
I have been, and I do know.
it is the town that is right in the center of um, of Nevada, and Nevada is a pretty long state, so it's pretty thick, but like right in the center there. So we stayed just at some random hotel there, and he discovered that when you stay in hotels, you get free soap. Uh, he didn't know what soap was, so he was like, "Oh, this is great," and
Okay,
he felt
real quick question. He didn't know what soap was, meaning he didn't know what bar soap was, in
he
that
didn't know what
y'all only use
bar
liquid soap.
yeah, he didn't know what
Okay,
bar soap
gotcha.
was. Like
I was like,
he
some weird shit's going down here,
no,
Jameson. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
he'd have he's had experience with soap, yeah. But like, the idea of bar soap, the idea that they give it to you, and like he just was enthralled with this concept of soap. So since about mid-January, he's been obsessed with soap. He carries it around.
Bar soap.
He bar soap. Yeah, he carries around a little bar soap. He has a little dish for it. The other day, I was putting him in bed, and he's like, "Where's my soap?" So I went and got it, and then he was like, "Dad, where's the dish?" I mean, he says it in his little bit, and I actually couldn't understand what he was saying. He said like, "Dada dish," or "Dada, where the dish?" And I was like, "I don't understand what you're saying." And then he was starting to get really frustrated, and so I was like, "Okay, wait, just take me to whatever you're asking for." And he like carried me over to where the dish was, and I was like, "Oh, you mean the soap dish? Okay, that makes sense." So he carries this around, he smells it. Great, wonderful. Yesterday, I sit down to watch this movie, so it's related to this movie actually.
Okay,
I sit
beautiful.
down to watch this movie after putting him down for a nap. I'm like, okay, if he sleeps 2 hours, I can finish this movie. Great. That's
How
kind of
far into
normal
the
for.
movie did this happen?
I get about 10
It's
minutes
gonna
in.
be okay.
I get about 10 minutes in, and
Okay.
I see him walking around, and he's pacing, and he looks like he has a turd. And so I'm like, "Hazel, did you poop?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I go in and change him. Great. Okay. Done with that. Put him back to bed, like tuck him in. He can get up and walk around and play with his toys and then get back in bed if he wants. I get out, start the movie. Not 5 minutes later, I hear him screaming on the monitor, and I'm like, "What is happening?" And I'm like, "Dude, are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I was like, that doesn't sound okay." So I'm like, "I'm gonna go in and check." So I go in and check, and he's like, "Soap is gross." And he had decided to chomp on the soap. He had finally tasted the forbidden bathroom fruit of bar soap. And I was like, "Oh yeah, soap is gross. Sorry, dude." That's disgusting. And he was like trying to like scrape it out of his mouth. And I was like, let me get something and you can spit it out. I go and then I like come back with something and I realize, oh, he had actually vomited all over himself. So I was like, oh no. So we had to clean all of that up. I'm happy that was the reaction to the soap, honestly, because like
Yeah.
I feel like there are worse things that kids can try to learn that lesson on than, a bar
So
of Dove, soap, right? And
yeah.
but yeah, I definitely took the soap away and there's all these bite marks on it and I'm like, you you dingus. But
Yeah,
but
dingus.
it worked out. We took a bath, we cleaned up, and then I put him to bed, and he like played around a bit, and then got into bed, and I was able to finish the movie, so that was good. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to threaten him with that? And so, like
I
from now
haven't.
on, like
I
the
haven't done.
threat of washing his mouth out with soap is like now it works.
Well, yeah. So now, no, we haven't used it as a threat yet, but we did definitely go over the fact that soap is gross multiple times after he woke up. I was like, yeah, dude. How? What? Yeah, is soap good? No, soap is gross. Okay, yeah, that's right.
No, soap is good if you use it correctly.
Yeah, soap is not good to eat.
No,
Yeah, gross.
no, it's
Yeah,
real bad, real bad.
good, dude. Anyway, that it was sad, but it made me laugh. Um,
And I would have said, "Oh, you should have given him some Listerine to wash it out with." But then and then I thought was like, well, he wouldn't have liked that either. So,
mm-mm.
because Listerine will pretty much burn whatever is in your mouth out, and you won't be able to taste anything for about 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah, and some Listerine has alcohol in it, and I would not want to give that, but um,
Why not?
I don't know. No reason.
It's nappy time.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids, man,
Yeah.
they do
Fun
some weird
stuff.
ass shit. Oh, it's a blast. It's a blast. It's maddening in the moment, but it's a blast on reflection.
It's good podcast content.
Oh, it's
That's
great
what
podcast content.
that's why that's why I had a family. I was like, how am I going to get podcast content? Like I told you this. It was a couple years back when we were talking about starting the show. You were
Yeah.
like, I'd be happy to start a show with you, Jamie, but you need podcast content. And I was like, well, I have a wife, and you were like, that's not enough. And I was like, okay, guess I gotta have a kid. And then you're like, okay, let's start a podcast. That was how it happened.
Sort of. But I'm pretty sure we started it before you had a kid.
Yeah, no, I promised to have a kid. It was in the contract,
Oh,
right?
gotcha. So
We
that's why
we
our
just
first few episodes were shitty.
yeah, we just make up the
Remember
fact that it's
when we tried to put effort into the show? When we used to like read articles and crap for it?
mm, yeah.
Remember
Now
those
the effort
days?
is that I have to have an offspring in order, right? So I actually think that's more effort than homework, Blake.
Easily. Easily more
Fuck
effort.
you. No.
So there was this some kind of like I don't even remember what it was called, but I was looking at I was going down one of my rabbit holes of what's out there as far as like um and not social media but getting stuff you make out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened upon this, I don't know, it's some kind of like subscription service where get if you get brought into it, because you have to like sign up for it and they have a certain amount of room depending on, it's like a startup basically.
Mm.
But basically like it allows you to easily get paid for podcasts or whatever if you decide to do that. But part of the sign up process was describing your podcast content. And so I went into it. I was like, this is going to get us in real quick. I was like, this is a low effort, low quality podcast by two dads that don't have enough time to put podcasts together, but we do it anyways.
Yeah, we do.
And we talk about films that have been forgotten. It was something like that. I put all of our best like qualities on display.
Did we get rejected?
I haven't heard jack shit from them, but I hope I hear from them. And rejection or accepting, I don't care. I just want to hear from them. I just want to see what the response is. So
yeah.
Anyways, not that I would actually end up using it per se, because I don't really want to make people pay to listen to this. Because I think it's quality content regardless.
You mean you don't want 0 listeners?
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't want it to just be our moms listening.
Oh, Blake, I'm sorry to break this to you, but you mean your mom. My mom is not gonna listen.
I mean neither of our moms.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just thinking back to the days whenever, you did something that was like, hey, can you pay this amount of money for this thing? And it was always your mom, like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. That's fine. No worries. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I was thinking. Not that I actually think I wouldn't want my mom to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. Like, no, thank you. Please don't listen.
I'm good. Yeah, don't do it. You're gonna find out things about me that you don't want to know.
Whenever the podcast comes up around my mom, I'm like, yeah, it's a thing. It's fine. I keep it intentionally brief because I don't want to. Yeah. She's like, well, what movies are you watching for? I was like, oh, things. Yeah, I watched some things. I'll tell her about one of them. I think I told her. Oh, it was actually a Dangerous Game. I told her that we watched Frequency because I was like, oh, this is a movie you'll connect with. Yeah, we watched Frequency recently, and she's like, oh, and I was like, oh no, don't get too excited. I don't want you to listen, please. No. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway. Yeah, she's a big Jim Caviezel fan. And that's the second time in a row that we've brought up the Cavies. So
there was a time when I was a big fan too, and then he just kind of went off the rails, and I was like, okay.
I honestly don't know what he's up to. I just don't follow anything. I don't know.
Well, the last time I saw, he was at a conference for QAnon, but
okay,
he was spouting the QAnon shit. So,
Blake, I have
but
one more question.
He's going to be in the Passion of the Christ sequel, so that's cool.
Oh, even passioner, even Christier.
Yep, exactly. Too passion, too Christier.
Too passionate, too Christy.
Yeah. The Cavies had his day in my film history.
Wait, it's Passion of the Christ. So Jesus is going to be back in Passion of the Christ too.
Yeah.
Is this?
Don't you know how the story ends?
No, I know that there was a promise for Jesus to come back, and we're still waiting on it.
No, dude, have you read the Bible?
No, I just
after
don't
he's
remember.
Crucified, he becomes resurrected, bro.
Hey,
this is gonna be the resurrection, bro.
I know that, I don't remember where the Passion of the Christ ends. That's
He's
what I don't
walking out of
remember.
the tomb, motherfucker, with his hand. There's a
So
hole in his hand.
he already resurrected.
Well,
We're
no,
done.
no. He gets out off of the stone bed and he's walking out. That's where it ends.
Okay. Well, forgive me. I didn't
The
know
next
that
movie is going to take up where that left off, and he's going to be like,
okay,
bitches, doves, Holy Spirit's descending. Yeah, it's going to be great. There's some crazy ass shit going on.
He's going to ascend at the end of this next one.
Ascend? Oh, yeah.
The Ascension. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ascension. Yeah. It's going to be the Epiphany, the Ascension.
Good. Okay.
Great. There's going to be a lot of fire and doves. It's going to be like floating fire. People are going to be speaking in tongues. It's going to be whacked out shit. It's going to be like a dream.
Do you think Mel Gibson is going to be able to fit all of the violence that his heart desires into this movie? Or is it going to be like...
No. He's going to take this on a completely different level. He's going to be like, I'm just going to do all the Lynchian shit. I'm just going to like throw everything spaghetti. See what sticks. No violence whatsoever.
I think what is going to happen, this is my prediction, is that there's going to be, you're right, lynching shit. Okay, Mel Gibson does lynch, and applies it to post-resurrection gospel, right? Okay, great.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm pretty sure this is pre-resurrection stuff, but there's a point where Jesus talks about hell, right? So we've got all of that shit that probably didn't show up in the other Passion of the Christ, so we can move it to this one.
Are you saying that he's going to show the Dantean like descent to the dead?
That
would be the shit, bro.
100%. That's where Mel Gibson is going to take this. If what you're saying is true, if it's going to be the second part of the Christ,
I don't know what it's actually going to be, but like, what do you do after the Passion of the Christ?
I don't know. It's so, I don't know. I'm just messing with you because I think it's so silly that we're making a sequel to this.
That's an incredible idea.
I don't know. Maybe
you could do some crazy ass shit with Descent to the Dead, or as the better days, like Descent to Hell. I still think that's a better translation, but what the fuck ever.
Yeah, no, I think that Gibson's gonna get his violence kicks by doing a bunch of hell scenes. He's gonna be, yeah.
Man, I hope he totally uses some like AI, like AOC images or something like that. Like with like a shiv like being driven into her in hell or something.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like you're gonna notice all of the liberals in
all
hell.
The libtards.
All of the liberals, yeah.
They're gonna get pwned.
Yeah. They're all being tortured by Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh
God. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, hey.
The funny part is I don't actually know what Mel Gibson's politics are like. I don't know if he like. Oh, really? Is he like hardcore conservative?
No, I definitely.
I know he's like super like hardcore devout Catholic, but
no,
like pre-Vatican II Catholic.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But it's funny that you asked this because last night I was watching with my friend George, who might listen to this episode. I was watching UFC 313 or whatever they number their fights, I guess, or number their fight nights. I don't know. I honestly don't follow the UFC, but George does, and I watch it with him because it's boys getting together and enjoying things.
Yeah.
But they showed Mel Gibson, and he was sitting right next to Kash Patel, who is our FBI director right now. So,
Oh, God.
like, I can only imagine that that Mel Gibson is pretty MAGA, but you know, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
know he's an anti-Semite, but you know, I mean, that doesn't. I mean, you can be liberal and anti-Semitic. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at a normal, everyday, like, transcript from a committee session in Congress, and you'll see anti-Semitic comments.
Yeah. I mean, man, yeah, I don't know. It's so weird, and I wish there were artists who were actually willing to be like, oh, you politicians of any stripe. But it just, I don't know. Everyone
tied to some political stance.
It's not even political stance. I think it's just people like power, and I just wish I had a handful of artists who were like, you know what, power's pretty gross and not that cool, but you know, a lot of the artists that we get are. Oh,
but they're not known.
I know. But I also don't think that your desire for power, wherever that's coming from, wherever that power is coming from, necessarily means you make bad art. So, you know, that's and I think that's where it's at. But
so
yeah,
to put a cap on this like weird tangent that we're on, I do want to say that I would, of all of Mel Gibson's directed films, the one I would want to see a sequel to is Apocalypse 2.
Yeah.
I would eat that shit up.
that is a pretty good movie. Yeah. Anyway, Blake, you asked me a question. I don't know if you want to talk about this, but it's kind of related.
Okay.
Do you want to ask this question again live? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you asked me. Speaking of hell and
okay, wow.
Christianity,
okay.
Yeah. You asked yesterday, and I was like, my son is throwing up on soap. I don't have time to answer this.
And you're like, this is podcast content.
I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just answer it in vocabulary words instead of text words, and I will. I mean verbal words, but whatever. My vocabulary obviously isn't great.
It's superb.
Superb. It's wonderific, you know.
Wonderific.
But you asked me, as a Christian, what terrifies me?
No. As a believer of Jesus. Yeah. Because I get it. Like, I've got friends all across the board, like conservative Christians, liberal Christians, deconstructed Christians, barely Christians. Like, I've got, like, it's across the board. I got friends in all those camps. Like, my thing was, do you still believe in Jesus? If you do, can you answer this question for me?
Yeah.
And the question was, what is terrifying specifically about faith? in Jesus
Specific,
or God.
specifically about faith in Jesus. What is terrifying?
What keeps you up at night about faith? And maybe I will deign to give our audience my thesis for a talk I'm giving in May.
Do you
And that's
want
why
to
I'm
get?
asking. This is why I'm asking people, because I want to see if the thesis bears itself out.
Do you want to? Do you want to talk about that thesis before I give my response?
No, I want you to give your response
Okay.
first.
Thank you. I thought that's what you wanted. Which actually makes it harder for me, but I also want to honor, I want to honor the question, right? I was thinking about this. And maybe I'm going to give myself an out and say I don't have a full answer for you right now. So it could change. But I was thinking
You can
about
have
things
more
that
than one.
aren't.
You do know that, right?
Yes. But I mean, I don't know if it's like fully formed. Like, I don't think
That's
I don't
fine.
even know if I have one that's fully formed.
Sometimes
I was,
on questions like this, the instinctual answer is usually better. Like the first one that comes to your mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is another reason I don't want my mom to listen to this podcast is I'm going to say my mom, like, so faith in Jesus is something that she holds dear, and my faith kind of starts with my mom's desire to share Christianity with us, right? That's kind of the start point. But but now and this might get me in trouble because I'm going to talk about like criticisms I have about my mom's faith now is that she is very interested in kind of a god of retribution and a god of coming down and bringing apocalypse essentially onto the earth, and specifically onto the people on the earth, I guess. And so there's kind of this mixed up like
Libtards.
Well, it's not just libtards, it's everyone. I mean, I got to give her credit for some consistency here, but like she thinks Elon Musk is terrible. She thinks AOC is terrible. Like she's very much like she didn't vote for. She voted for Trump the first time. She didn't vote for Trump the second time because she's like, oh, he's evil. Like, but it's this. There's this fear that I feel like has infected her faith that doesn't allow for hope, and so it's kind of like there's this her being consumed by it, but being consumed by a distortion of it. And I think I'm afraid that I don't understand it, and in my old age, my faith is going to look toxic like that. Just be a pile of radioactivity, right?
Yeah.
And again, I mean, this has been consistent with my fears as a kid, which was like of werewolves, right? Because I was going to turn into this thing and terrorize my family and hurt the people I love. And turning a faith into something like that. I mean, there's also fears of the ancient one version of Jesus, and things like, the idea that like if he decides to send me to hell, like I will know that he's right. So that's, that's like damning and
Uh-huh.
scary and stuff like that. But like, I don't,
Yeah.
that doesn't even comprehend in my mind. So like, it's not scary to me right now. It would be scary if it was to happen, but it doesn't keep me up, right? But
Yeah.
I think this idea of kind of, uh, my belief becoming something horrible
Uh-huh.
is
Yeah.
scary. So anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So
That's good. Oh,
it's maybe something.
I would say that generally of the responses I've gotten so far, that fits within a category that I've started to notice.
Yeah.
Is and it's so fascinating. And I'll just quickly like note this is that so far it has been very clear the expected response or the responses I've been getting from more conservative Christians versus more deconstructed or liberal Christians or whatever you want to call them. Has been a very much a.
Where am I on the continuum, Blake?
I honestly don't know because I would say you're probably more like liberal, but I would also say that you're probably not as liberal as some of the people we know. And so but yeah, I would say that generally speaking your response would fit more on that side. Like
Mm-hmm.
so far the categories I've been hearing have been dealing with orthodoxy and orthopraxy. So the doctrines, the dogma of the faith versus the practice, the right doing of the faith. I think you can guess which side holds to which one as being the fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to read that out. Um, and so it's been interesting to see that and how often like in their fear there's a indirect pointing at the other side saying I don't want to be like them. So and it's on both sides. It's been interesting to see, and I don't want to say that as derogatorily on either side because I don't think that was the intent. But I could almost read in those responses a coded kind of drop on people on the other side of the aisle, and so it's been kind of fascinating to see the different responses. But I mean, I go to a church that I would say is largely on the liberal side, even though I tend to lean more conservative in my theology, at least, not in my politics, not even remotely. Um, but
How do
but
you
in my
do it?
theology,
How how do you merge those two? Oh my
I've
god.
I've
No, I'm just kidding. I don't
I've thought
care.
about writing about it in the past about how my conservative Christian theology led me to Marxism. Wouldn't that blow people's minds? um, yeah, no, I found it an interesting thought. So the thesis that I'm working with here, just as is basically the fears we have about our faith are always going to be surrounding an inability to control an outcome,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's right thinking or right practice. We fear not being able to control what it looks like in the endpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And so my what I'm going to be aiming for my talk ultimately is, well, okay, all that's fine and good, but the antidote to that is even more terrifying if we actually consider it. And that is, in theory, giving over control. giving up control and saying, hey, like, let it be your will, not mine, So that is terrifying because we've all read the Bible. We all know that Jesus was not meek and mild all the time. Some of the shit he said was crazy. I mean, it was nuts. It was stuff that we still to this day water down constantly. I mean, he told us to leave our families and wives to go, deliver the gospel, and I don't think he's being necessarily metaphorical in that. So, so it's letting go of control as human beings is pretty fucking scary. And I think, and I would say that's the aim of my thesis, is that what does it actually look like to give up control in our actual lives, and why we don't want to do that, because it's terrifying. So that's kind of my starting point. I just wanted to see if it bared out with what people considered their fears with their faith. So far, it has largely bared itself out in different ways. And that's been the most fascinating part, is seeing the multifaceted ways that people are like trying to control like the end goal. And I do it too.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here judging. I'm one who does the same thing. So
yeah. No, it is interesting.
So
and
the movie.
This is for your. Sorry, no. I just want to ask. So this is for your talk that you're giving at the Mockingbird.
Yeah, Mockingbird in New York City conference.
And when is this?
It is May 1st through 3rd.
I would like the record to show that Blake is choosing to go to this conference over coming to the West Coast and see
this pains me.
Nick Cave with me. So fuck
I'm a real
you,
shithead.
Blake. Fuck you. No. To those concerned, Blake had this planned before I brought this up to him. And
oh man,
they're not,
it pains me though. I want to see Nick Cave so bad. And I will be excited to hear how your walk with God has increased after it.
I'm so excited. I might have new fears. You might want to ask me after that show.
Oh, I think if the talk goes well, and it ends up being beneficial, like good conversation and whatnot, it's probably something I'm going to be thinking on a lot. So
okay.
I'm probably not going to give up on it. I'm probably going to be writing about it and doing other things with it. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So movie.
We have 7 minutes to talk about this movie. Just kidding.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Let's do it.
We don't really have 7 minutes. We can talk however long we want.
We can go a little bit. Well, you need to get to sleep for one, so let's not belabor this.
Oh, I see what you did there. A callback. Yeah, so trying to contain this movie is really hard because you could go with the description on IMDb. Okay, Gene Hackman, Teresa Russell, who I'm not super familiar with, but goodness, she is a looker.
She's very attractive. Who else noticed that?
Who? Hazel?
Nicholas Rogue. As he was filming her, and 43-year-old Nicholas Rogue ended up getting married to 22-year-old Teresa Russell. So yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that yeah. Anyway,
I mean, it's
but
not
they
the
were
worst case scenario. It's not like Woody Allen, screwing a 13-year-old or something like
no,
that. Like
no.
but it's still kind of like.
That's why I said pervy, right?
Yeah, it's pretty pervy.
He
Especially some of the
also
shots that he gets on this movie are.
yeah.
I mean,
That's
they're
what
pretty.
that's
Yeah,
kind of yeah. There's a
I
lot of
mean,
sex in this movie, and
very little unexplored on her body, honestly.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So Teresa Russell, Mickey Rourke,
Pre weirdo
pre-weirdo,
Mickey Rourke.
messed up surgery.
Yeah.
Whatever happened there. And Joe Pesci,
Yeah.
in a role that I would say is actually as far out from his stereotype as I could have possibly imagined. He's not necessarily fast talking. Well, I mean, he's still playing that role, but he's
still
not
playing
doing
a
the whole
mobster.
Joe Pesci thing.
Yes.
He's not doing the whole Joe Pesci thing, like,
yeah,
talking fast and like he's slow. He's like he's speaking in normal cadence. He's like,
yeah.
It's wild. Who else was in this? Those are the big names. Ed Lauder. Ed Lauder.
One more big name that you did not say. I'm going to let you think about this.
Rutger Hauer.
Yes. Your name is a
it's
reference
the Hauer
to
of Power.
The Hauer,
it's the Hauer of Power.
Yeah,
Rutger Hauer, who I have had a man crush on for a long portion of my life.
Dude,
ever since I first saw The Hitcher.
Sexy. Yeah, dude is sexy.
Yeah. Dude, and hardcore. Yeah, so Rutger Hauer, I mean, so going into this film, like the description on IMDb, if you go read it, it sounds like it's going to be like melodrama. Like this old man is like, he's found gold in the Arctic or the Alaska or whatever, wherever it is. And he's living in the Caribbean islands, and his daughter is marrying someone he despises. And I'm like, I read this, I was like, this is a movie that I can't actively not choose because I've never heard of it. Like, this is a film I've never heard of. I feel like I have to choose this, even though it sounds boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna write it. And oh my god, that is not what happens in this fucking film. I mean, yes, it happens.
Those things are there.
But holy crap.
So, like, how much of the Wikipedia article did you read about this movie?
None.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you some.
I think I scoured maybe the legacy of it. Like, this is like the two people in like paid film criticism who love this movie. I think I read that part.
There's like I think Danny Boyle is one of them.
Yep, Danny Boyle is one of them. Yep.
But there was one more dazzling deed in the Wikipedia article.
I'm a little terrified to hear this.
So this movie was not rated R when it came out. It was rated X. And for those, yeah. So you're probably thinking why it was rated X was because of all the sex. Like, we've talked about that.
Oh no, it's violence.
No, it was the violence that it was rated X for.
Yeah.
And I read this 20 minutes into the movie, and I was like, okay, there was that one violent scene where
that came
a
out of
homeless.
nowhere and it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
The way
no,
that guy
it
was looking at him when he first like arrived, I was like, "Is this a fucking horror movie?"
So, I also like, I was like, is that Rutger Hauer? Because
Exactly.
he kind of looks like him. He looks like an older version of him. So
Yeah.
this was 82. So Rutger Hauer like was a very, very attractive specimen at that point, and was in kind of the height of his you know
This was
uh
post Blade Runner, right? I
I
think Blade
think
Runner
it
was
was
82, wasn't it?
82. So yeah, it was the year after Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So you know, he was at the height of his movie star. And I was like, that kind of looks like him, but an older version. It wasn't him. It's a homeless man who blows his brains out at the, just
Who blows his
immediately.
brains out after having the most malicious grin on his face when Gene Hackman walks
Mm-hmm.
up on him. And
Mm-hmm.
it is like, this is not a horror film, but I was freaked out by that scene. The way he was looking at him, like this bulging eyes and like the wide grin. I was like, oh. And then
So
he fucking kills him, blows his head out, and it shows it. I'm like, holy shit, what am I watching?
it's not a horror film, but honestly, like, okay, Rogue's other horror film, Don't Look Now. Why
Feels
do we
tamer
count?
than this one.
Yeah, why do we count that a horror film? Because it's so surreal and it has
Yeah,
these moments of terror.
yeah,
Okay, well, in that case, I almost feel like if we're going to include Don't Look Now as a horror film, Eureka, especially because I didn't get to the point, was this movie was rated X for violence, not for that scene that we just talked about. There
yeah.
is a scene later on that I was like, oh, that's why. And that is also fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it
And
is. I mean,
so
Gene
if
Hackman gets it.
do oh
Gets it.
my yeah. So if you're the type of person that like specific instances of terrible violence that perhaps you've never seen in a movie stick with you, don't watch
Mm-hmm.
this movie. Like
Yeah.
and bother you. Don't watch this movie because we'll just describe it now. Gene Hackman gets blowtorched to death.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it
and
does
then
not shy away from
and then
the
hacked
melting
up. Yeah.
face and his head
Yeah.
is hacked off like Hackman.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. So, and the scene where his daughter has to go in and identify his
oh,
body,
God.
it's like almost played for a
You
gag
can't
because,
help
like,
it. Yeah, it's almost chuckle inducing. She's
yeah,
going over to
because
the body and he's like,
she's
"Oh
going
no,
over to
no,
the
no,
body.
no. No,
Not
no,
that
no,
one.
no, no.
Let me take you
Over
to
here
this
and it's
much
a small
smaller
like
one. Yeah.
head-shaped package here."
And she has this horror moment. But yeah, if Don't Look Now counts as a horror film, I almost feel like Eureka gets umbrellaed into that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you
easily.
know you have the same level of surrealism and you have almost as many moments of terror, maybe more. I
Yeah,
think that movie has one moment of terror. uh
yeah, and it's at the very
so
end.
it's at the very end. Yeah. um yeah, so
Yeah, this movie is so freaking surreal, and there's, I mean, the scene with the I don't know, Caribbean like voodoo ritual or
oh,
something,
the orgy.
orgy. Yeah,
Orgy.
I was like, what? Okay, I spent that whole time trying to figure out how does this play into the movie?
I don't even know
What?
how they
Like-
got there. Like
I
I
don't
was
either. I'm so deeply. Who is he with? Who is Rutger Hauer? Who are these people?
So I mean I was a little confused, and I think part of that is because there's historical precedence. So one thing about this movie is, and this is kind of a weird knock against it, but also maybe adds to the surrealness, is so the first 15 minutes take place in Alaska. It's about Gene Hackman finding gold, and then he becomes this amazingly wealthy individual who ends up buying an island. And this is loosely based on someone who had kind of a similar setup's murder, like unsolved murder of this man. And so you know, if you read that, Gene Hackman's gonna get murdered at the end, and that's gonna be a thing. But
Oh
one
no,
of the
not at
things
the end. 40 minutes
Oh,
away
yeah.
from the end of the movie.
Sorry, yes, 40 very, very equally strange minutes away from the end
Yes.
of the movie. But here's another thing. Okay, so the Alaska part of the movie takes place in 1925.
Yeah.
And as I was watching that, I was like, this is kind of suspect. And then the rest of the movie takes place in 1945. And I'm not an expert at like style or, architecture of these times.
It did not feel like in the 40s.
It felt like it was in the 70s or 80s. Like it felt
I
like
would have
Nicholas
pegged
Rogue.
it as the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue was like, I don't care about consistency in this. Like, let people figure it out. But it definitely, supposedly takes place in the 1940s, 1945, and they're talking about a war, right? And you're like, World War II, but it's in the Caribbean, so you're like, what Caribbean nations were in World War II? But apparently there was a Caribbean War during that time, right?
God damn.
And yeah, and so it's a specific war happening in the Caribbean at that time, and that plays a big subplot, role.
Well, it's
But
like a subplot that becomes a major plot ender in the trial.
Yeah. And Gene Hackman is this, American who is apparently old enough not to have to worry about actual World War II, which probably had ended at this point, but not before he scurried off to the Caribbean with his island. And Joe Pesci is trying to buy the island to build a casino,
a resort.
Honestly,
yep.
Yeah, honestly, like these things do not mesh well in my mind, which is fine. Rutger Hauer is somehow a
friend
British...
of the. Yeah, he's like he's French. He's French because he talks about his mom in back in France. But he's like a friend to the quote native populations in the area. Like they love him, and that's part of the reason why Gene Hackman hates him.
Yeah,
I mean, but then you get to the Caribbean orgy scene, and you're like, this dude's just fucking exploiting them. Like he's just like he's a douche too.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely, and Howard does a really good job of just playing him as the most insufferable person in the world.
Which is it's what he does best. Playing the insufferable, like
he's just so insufferable. But like Hackman's insane. Hauer's insufferable. Teresa Ruffle is hot, but like she's like
I kept waiting for the hammer to come down, and she was like orchestrating this whole fucking thing from day one, and you don't even get that. Like,
no, but she's the spawn of insanity, and then connected to this philandering insufferable socialite. Yeah. And it's just, honestly, like, I think I texted you this. I was like, I think Rourke is my favorite character because he's not a good guy. Like, he's a goon. He inflicts violence on these people, but like everyone else is just going batshit for their roles. And like Mickey Rourke is like, I'm gonna play the straight mobster. Very, very like
to the point that I did not recognize him when I first saw him. And I was like, holy shit, that's Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. He's very, very like reserved. He doesn't look like muscle, which is surprising for Mickey Rourke, right? Like, I think, I think of The Wrestler and just like this big hulking character. No, he's like very skinny. And I think he presents himself as a lawyer, which is completely believable. And yes, he inflicts violence, so there's this dementedness to him. But even when he's doing that, he seems like exasperated that everything is getting out of his control, and he's like trying to like keep everything. Anyway, he's a
man of errors. He's a man of errors, and once that goes to shit, he's like, well, I don't fucking know what to do now. Like, I'm just trying to like tidy this up a little bit, and then tidy this up a little bit.
Yeah, but everyone else in the movie is just like going for broke. Like,
yeah.
I
mean, I told you after I finished, I was like, I think I liked it, but I have no idea what to do with it.
I think I'm in the same boat. Like, I think that was definitely worth 2 hours on a Saturday. Like, I could have chosen much more normal things to do with my Saturday. Exactly. And I'm always happy when that's my my reaction. But
I mean, I get why Danny Boyle likes it, honestly.
Yeah. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, because he had The Beach, right? This is probably like his, and this might even be a better movie than The Beach. Like, I don't remember. I know that was also panned, but like I haven't seen it forever, so I don't know. Maybe it's good.
A long time ago, and I'm so non-Leo. I'm like, Leo DiCaprio's in it. Great. Okay. Fine. Whatever.
It was like his role right after Titanic, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Blake, I have one last question for you about this movie.
Okay.
And we could continue talking about it. What is this movie about?
I mean, to be fair, there's this phrase that Gene Hackman repeats over and over and over and over again throughout the film. And I'm not going to say it correctly as per, word for word, but he basically says, I've never lived off the dime of another man, or something like that.
I've never made a dime. I remember it.
I've never made a dime. Okay, go for it.
I've never made a dime off of another man's sweat.
I've never made a dime off another man's sweat. Exactly. But I haven't figured it out yet, but I think there's something there. And I don't know Because if you look at all of the characters in this movie, outside of Gene Hackman, but even he did it, he just refuses to acknowledge it, made a dime off of another man's sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And even Gene Hackman did. He's like, he just is this concept of the American self-made man, like that we are autonomous beings, and that we can pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and make our world, like, become, upper middle class or upper class, on our own Puritan work ethic. And I'm like, but what that actually does is drive you fucking crazy. Like, Gene Hackman is nuts in this film. Like, he's batshit crazy. And I think that ideology will drive you batshit crazy. But I think it drives them all batshit crazy because they're all doing the same damn thing. It's just that it's not always about the actual business. It's not actually about money. Sometimes it's about power. Sometimes it's about sex. Sometimes it's like, we're all exploiting another person for a thing. And I feel like the film is basically just a fever dream of the descent into the workings of the hellishness of that concept. I don't know. It's just a first.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. It's so interesting that you say that, because what is... Okay, so, like, the movie, there's the Gene Hackman part, he dies, and then it becomes about this, like, just almost Shakespearean, romance between Russell and Hauer, and eventually they're parting because Hauer is a pussy.
Flanked by the courtroom.
Yeah. But if we kind of skip that, well, I guess this doesn't happen because, Gene Hackman dies, and then the island becomes his daughter's, right? So Pesci doesn't end up getting it, but the ultimate goal is a casino, right? Which just makes ambient money off of other people's money, right? And that's exactly how...
damn well that she's probably going to sell out at some point. I mean, she is her father's daughter, after all.
She wants to give it away, right? That's what she says, right?
But she says that, and that's the point in which I'm waiting for her to mic drop and say that, no, I set this whole thing up to get the island. Like, I am the inner workings, which we don't get because this movie is smart enough not to do that kind of shit. But the way she's looking at Rutger Hauer at certain points in that final scene before he rows off into the horizon.
I don't know what that
actually
means.
How it ends.
That's actually how it ends. Tears streaming down her face.
Yeah, she has these looks where she's like almost murderous towards him. Like, I half expected her to poison the wine that she's like pouring into his cup, because that's what she looks like. She looks like she's on the verge of like destroying him. And
she kind of,
in that moment, I was she kind of does. I mean, kind of.
Especially if you like scroll back to like she gives this monologue when she's at court about him, and
which is phenomenal.
It's
I can make neither head nor tails of it, but it was phenomenally delivered.
it makes zero sense of like why it exists too, because like the whole thing is that and there's this court case. So Rutger Hauer's character gets pinned with Gene Hackman's death, Gene Hackman's character's death. And honestly, I have to admit, I had to look up to see, was he involved in it at all? Like, I had to read the Wikipedia plot to figure out, because there's so many of these like connections, and I was like, is he like somehow connected with the mobsters?
He was there.
What he was there? Like, was I supposed to like have seen that connection happen and like got it, and I just missed it because I was cleaning up my son's barf or something like that?
Simply because he was there.
No, he was just there. Yeah. So he wasn't related. So he's innocent, but he gets pinned with this, and he has to prove his innocence. And his lawyers are doing a shit job, and it's kind of like a kangaroo court. It doesn't get better than that either, because like at one point he's like, "Oh, he like gets a letter from his wife, and the next scene is him saying he's dismissing his public defenders, and he's gonna represent himself, and he's only calling his wife. And you expect this to be meaningful and impactful, right? And like like give him an alibi, or like be something about anything that would let someone find you not guilty. And what she delivers is absolutely none of that. Like, you're like, why would you allow this? Why would you fire your lawyers for this?
Well, and he goes through so many feelings during that speech. Just looking at his face, he's like, what the fuck did I do? Oh, this may work in my... Oh, what the fuck did I do?
And you're thinking, wow, this guy, you know, he's clearly like guilty by whatever we're seeing in the courtroom. Nope, he's not found not guilty. Okay, cool. I don't know. I don't understand the internal logic of this movie, is ultimately. But yeah. But it is a phenomenal speech, and she like calls him out, and she basically like describes him perfectly to him.
Yeah.
And it makes him feel very, very small. And right before he rows off, he's like been dressed out by her eyes. And he like goes into the house, and one of the things she told him was like, you can't stop by a mirror without looking at yourself. And he like passes a mirror, but he stops and he has to look at himself, and that's like the moment that he realizes like, oh, I can't, she knows me too well, like I can't, I've been found out. But yeah, no, this movie is an enigma dressed in an enigma. But
it is, but just merely talking about it with another person actually like increases my enjoyment of it. Because there's just so much that is... I'm not even sure it's incoherent. I just don't get it. Maybe it is incoherent, but it makes me wonder if it is or not.
Doesn't have to make sense. It's provocative, Blake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I like about it. Like it is Nicholas Roeg. It is fitting of his, and of the ones I've seen, I think I might like this one the best so far.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think the other two that I've seen are Man Who Fell to Earth and Don't Look Now, and now this one. And so I think all right.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
Returning to our roots.
Eureka. Yeah. You might actually,
longer episodes.
Oh, I was gonna say I think people might know what this one's about a little bit more because
Yeah.
I think we did a better job of explaining it, which is ironic given the movie doesn't really do a good job of explaining itself.
And I'm not even entirely sure that we did a good job because the movie is so.
Who the fuck knows, Blake?
Yeah, who knows?
All
But
right.
I'm here for it.
Well,
all right. Well,
with
bye.
that, I say bye. Bye.